It's not even that sunny outside. It's like 6 p.m. where I am right now. Just painting your walls like this gives so much reflection and light that my pottery actually looks pretty good. Hello, you dirty potters. How are you today? Today is going to be the very first episode in this new playlist I like to call Building Your Studio. As I said before on my previous update video, not all of us have a bunch of money to build a giant studio and a plot of land and your own property, and it's really difficult to get a summation of money to go ahead and build your own studio. But if you live in a house, the one thing you do have is a garage, in which most people, or at least most homestead potters, do make their studios in. Luckily for me, I just moved into my new house, and I have to build my entire studio from the ground up. So that's actually what this playlist is going to be. Along with that, I actually get the question almost on a daily basis of,
Donte, I want to build my studio, but I don't know where to start or what to do. Help me.
So we're hitting two birds with one stone. I'm rebuilding my studio, and I'm showing you guys why I build my studios the way I build my studios. And today we're starting with lesson number 1, which is the walls. Now I know this isn't very good for my channel or YouTube analytics, but I'm gonna be really honest with you here. If you either don't own your own garage and don't have the ability to paint the garage because it's technically not your house and you're renting it, then this video is not for you. Unfortunately, you should at least have owned your own house or have permission to paint your own garage or the walls of your house in order to do this. For example, if most of your garage looks like this, you see this kind of emptiness here. It has no sheetrock, it has no wall behind it. This is just kind of the base outer wall of your garage. Then you can pretty much skip this step. But we do need to address this step first. Now I totally get it. There's probably a lot of you right now who are saying, Donte, why wouldn't I worry about where I would put my wheel and where I would put my kiln first? Isn't that a little bit more important than the walls? Well, yes and no. Here's what's gonna happen. You're gonna buy your wheel, you're gonna buy your kiln, you're gonna set everything up. You're gonna have your shelves that I told you to buy, you're gonna have the stuff that saves space, you're gonna have the right boards, you're gonna have the right glazes, you're gonna have everything to set yourself up because you're watching this channel and you've gone through the proper steps. But you didn't paint your walls. You just have this sheetrock left in your garage, which, don't get me wrong, it functions as a wall. A wall is a wall and it'll keep things inside the room, but it's not painted. And now that you really wanna paint your walls, guess what you have to do? You have to pull away your kiln, you have to pull away your wheel from the wall, your tables, your shelves, your glazes, your chemicals if you do have a chemical shelf. You have to pull away all that stuff. Okay, Donte, you've convinced me. The first thing I have to do is either paint my walls or consider them before I put down my wheel and my kiln. Now, what color are we painting these walls? Thank you, I'm glad you actually see my side now. Now here's the thing, you actually do have a couple of options as to what you might want to paint your wall inside of your studio. There's a bunch of functional reasons as to why you might want to paint your walls a certain color, and honestly, there's some colors you really shouldn't paint it. For example, I'm gonna be painting my walls eggshell white, and that's for a bunch of reasons actually. Oh wait, hold on, I should probably actually paint the walls. Oh, good, you came back. Some of you probably think that I did this in like a week and then put the same shirt on from last week. No, it's still the same day. Now the main point I really want to get across to you in this video is that you can essentially pick any color you want, but it's kind of advantageous for you to not pick a darker color. As I said before, while black absorbs color, white technically reflects color. But notice here, I didn't pick a fully white white. I picked either eggshell white or off-white for a couple different reasons. Number 1, I picked the color white because, again, it reflects light. But as I said before, I didn't pick super white, I didn't pick pure white. I could have gotten a whiter color, but instead, I got eggshell white. Let me show you why. Firstly, the contrast in between whatever you're gonna be putting in front of this wall, if you are videotaping like I am now, or taking pictures, and the actual color white is gonna be really nice. It would be really difficult to see this mug right here on a black background versus what this is right here. And let's face it, most of your mugs aren't going to be eggshell white. The majority of mugs you see, even the ones inside of Walmart, are some type of off-white, and you didn't get into this pottery business or this pottery craft specifically to make colors that are just white all day. You probably haven't even thought about it, but if you are planning on taking any pictures or videos inside of your brand new studio garage or your brand new studio, it's gonna be really good to have that nice contrast in between the color of your ceramic artwork and the actual walls in the background. Potter tip! This is actually probably one of my favorite little cheat codes that I've ever shared with anybody else, right? In my old studio, I didn't have this. I didn't have this really nice white wall. But you notice one thing whenever you see pictures of really nice stuff on Instagram, at least the standard is that they all have really nice lighting and they all have really nice white backgrounds. And usually for that, you would have to buy some type of light box because, well, the light that's reflected from the back of the white surface of a light box usually gives, number one, really good visuals, much like this wall here, and number two, it makes a fantastic background. It is one of the main reasons, probably about 30% if I'm being honest with you, why I like to paint new studios white, at least to start off with. Here, let me show you the difference. Do you think that this looks better? Or do you think that this looks better? Yeah, boy. The light is going to reflect perfectly off of your cups, your bowls, and anything else, and this makes a really good backdrop for the majority of your ceramic artwork. Now try to imagine the same backdrop, but just black or darker. Even from really far away, you can tell the background is a different type of white. It doesn't blend in because clearly this is not a white color. This is a really nice contrast. I know I'm really driving home the point, but I see way too many people create a new studio and they want to make their studio look like the night sky
with little stars in it.
And then they wonder why they can't really see their artwork that well. You do have to remember you are a visual artist if you are into making ceramic artwork. And that means you're gonna have to see what you're making. And you just painted all your walls black, which means all the light that ever comes in your studio is now gonna be absorbed. You actually don't even have to make your studio completely white like this. You could make it any bright color as long as it's not super bright like neon, and as long as it's not super dark. You could pick a really nice bright teal, you could pick a really nice bright brown, but it needs to be a bright color so that it reflects any light coming into your studio. Even if you have lights inside of your studio, that's still gonna reflect off of the walls and help you see your pottery a lot better. And to boot, if you're ever taking any pictures or any video, kind of like we are right now inside your studio, then this is gonna help you a lot. The second point I wanna make to you is that you probably notice, especially if you have really good eyes or you're like a color science nerd, this isn't exactly pure white. Pure white would reflect light everywhere. The actual brightest white that I can probably get from the paint store and paint my walls with would light up this place like a Christmas tree. And while I do preach the gospel of having a well-lit area inside your studio space because you do have to see and it helps with your social media if you're taking pictures, I honestly don't think that you need a pure white. What I have here is eggshell white. It reflects a lot of light, but it also kind of absorbs a little bit of light at the same time. You see this cup inside my hand? Clearly, it's white. But you're not so blind that you can't see that this is a less clear or a more opaque version of this white right here. While this is a darker white technically. And I know that freaks a lot of people out because I'm also kind of that guy that goes, yeah, that's not violet, that's just kind of like light purple and you guys called it violet. But when you're painting your studio, stuff like this matters. Keep in mind, I could have gotten a much whiter wall than this, to the point where you can get such a bright white that it would probably blind your studio and your camera or your social media pictures if you decided to take pictures inside of your studio. This is the exact reason why I pick eggshell white or off-white instead of pure, supreme, God form omega white. Don't get me wrong, I always preach the good word of having a lot of light in your studio so you can actually see your artwork because you are a visual craft. But part of that craft is having control over your medium, control over what you see and when you see it. And if you have super, super bright white walls, well, you can't really control the light that much. So while you do want white walls so it's easier for people to see and for you to see while you're actually crafting and taking pictures, it'll be a little bit more visually appealing. You still don't want super duper mirror bright walls that have 3 coats of the most expensive bright white paint you'll ever see in your entire life. Remember, you want to have control over your craft, and that's what makes you an artist. The ability to control and form your medium the way you want it to, and that technically does count for your walls too. Well, thank you, Dirty Potters, for joining me today. If there's 2 things you took away from this video, it's that number 1, you want a nice reflective surface so that you can see very well in your studio, and if you're taking pictures or making video like we are right now, you're gonna want something that has a really nice contrast and reflects light so that you can see all throughout your studio, not only for you to work on your craft, but also for the visual effect. And secondly, while you do want it fairly white, or you do want it a fairly light color to reflect light for better visuals, you don't want it super neon bright. Please don't go to Home Depot and get a can of red neon yellow paint and go,
yeah, Dante said the brighter the better, so let's just go neon.
There's definitely a line of well lit and bright, and you don't really want to go over that super bright level. Also, if I'm being really honest with you, this isn't the first time I've ever painted a wall like this, and the first time we did do something extremely bright white for the same reasons that I said earlier. Of course, we want more light inside of our studio. We want the brightest white, because the brightest white is going to give us the most light, the most visuals, and better pictures and videos if we're ever going to actually do those things in here. Well, thank you, Dirty Potters, for joining me today. I really hope you guys enjoyed this first step. As I said at the beginning of the video, I know a lot of people don't need to go through this step, and if you don't, or you're not painting your walls, or you don't have the liberty to paint your walls, or even if you don't even own the place in which you're going to start your studio in, you don't need to go for this step. You can probably just pass right on to step number 2, which is where to put your kiln and where to put your wheel, because those things are really important. If you'd like to see any of my actual artwork or my dank pottery memes, the links are always down below for your beautiful potter eyes to see. We have a fantastic Discord and Facebook fan page community. If you want to go there, there's a bunch of people who are just like me who are way too into pottery, to be honest with you. I hope you Dirty Potters have a fantastic day. Good luck on painting your walls if you are going through this step. I hope my recommendation really helped you out. The majority of the message of this is just don't get dark walls and don't get walls that are way too bright for your own eyes. And I will see you, Dirty Potters, next week. Move this camera back a little bit. Oh, no hands?